How can America thrive and live up to its God-given potential? Well, George Washington, the father of our country, actually gave some timeless advice as to how we as a nation can prosper. To modern ears, his suggestion sounds almost surprising, since we're often told that the founding fathers were, for the most part, unbelievers. But in reality, George Washington said that we can never hope to be a happy nation unless we imitate Jesus Christ, whom he called the divine author of our blessed religion.
George Washington resigned his commission to Congress. He was a hero around the country. He wrote a letter on June 13, 1783, to the governors of all 13 states, laying out his suggestion as Commander-in-Chief. It's called the Circular to the States, and he concludes the letter with a suggestion that the fledgling new nation would do well to imitate Christ.
I now make it my earnest prayer that God would most graciously be pleased to dispose us all to do justice, to love mercy, and to demean ourselves with that charity, humility, and pacific temper of mind which were the characteristics of the divine author of our blessed religion, and without an humble imitation of whose example in these things we can never hope to be a happy nation. George Washington.
Washington was finally able to return home and run his farm and plantation at Mount Vernon, and to be reunited with his wife Martha, and to retire from public service. His country did call George Washington again when it became clear that the Articles of Confederation, the forerunner of the Constitution, were not working. A conference of delegates from each state was called to meet again in Philadelphia. This became the Constitutional Convention, and George Washington, a delegate from Virginia, ended up presiding over this convention. The Constitution was the result months later. On September 17, 1787, the document was signed. The founders of America believed strongly that man was basically a sinner. Give any man, even a good man, too much power and he will tend to abuse it. One of the hallmarks of the Constitution was its elaborate system of checks and balances. This was no accident, but by design. After the Constitution was ratified the following year, George Washington was elected the first president under the Constitution. He was elected unanimously, the only president to ever be so. And so, on April 30th, 1789, George Washington was sworn into office in the city of New York, where the national capital was at that time.
And as you look at the pages of history, you look at George Washington, what did he do when he was sworn in as president? He brought the Bible, and he had it laid down, and he raised his right hand, and he was sworn into office. And by the way, that's a tradition that has continued with every president since. Using the Bible as the document. And that was not just symbolic. It wasn't just designed to, they needed a prop. It was understood that we need the Bible, the authority of the Word of God, to be read alongside the principles in the Constitution for this government to work. And Washington modeled it in so many ways.
George Washington not only gave great advice to the fledgling new nation that he helped create, but he also lived out the principles he professed to believe in. Throughout history, we've often seen politicians lust after power and take whatever steps are necessary, including immoral ones, to seize power or maintain it. But in contrast, Washington served until his time was complete and then relinquished power to his successor. As a nation, we have been blessed to have such a leader and founder. For Providence Forum, I'm Jerry Newcomb.